Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Thursday, October. Wow, already, yes. October 4th? No, 5th. Glad I checked. October 5th, 2017. This is William Newing, uh, product owner of Lingual Wikispeed. I know it sounds like a question, but yes, it's the reason because, yes, I'll be relocating to Las Vegas by the end of the month, so that title will be changed in the future. So until we change that, yes, it currently is still in the works. Um, we're joined together by the rest of the team as well, and we will kick us off with our Highfive, aka our stand-up. What we did last week, we didn't do too much according to our sprint plan. Uh, we did go over a little bit of the incorporation of our suggestions into our intro article. However, the rest we did have to switch around a bit, and we'll actually dive into that a little bit more later. I'll let others share with that news. Personally, I started class this week, which was interesting because I thought I was, really on top of it. I'm okay. I'm about half a day ahead in terms of schoolwork, although I know that I need to spend more time on that. Yeah, I know, but I want to spend more time as much as I can on what I don't know, because other people who are more talented could move a lot further. That is one of the blocks in terms of more progress in Wikispeed. The other block is, of course, what I just showed earlier, is moving. Um, I'm also planning out the logistics for that. I think some of those things need to be happened this weekend in terms of set in place and also the plan. So then I'm not scrambling along to figure that out. That is it for me. Who would like to go next? 30 a night? I have very little. Chris, I believe. Chris and I think, and Michael, I believe, who we'll see on the call in a bit. Any blocks? I forgot to share that with Chris. It is in the Dropbox. Well, I think it might be in my Dropbox instead, but I do push that out to Chris as well. Uh, oh. We'll talk more about that in crosstalk then. Yeah, cool. And thank you very much, Bruce. It sounds like you're finished with your high five stand up. Was there any, or who would like to go next? Apologies. Thank you, Lauren. Right. Thank you, Chris. Very good. Thank you, Chris Wallace. Was there anyone else that, or strike that, come back. Chris, was there any other blocks that you anticipate? Very good. Thank you very much. That, everyone, wraps up our Wikispeed Highfive, which is our stand-up, moves us along to our retrospective. We will attempt to mimic the order that we have went for our Highfive. Again, that's attempt. We may be a little off, but that's okay. We're being agile. And in our retro, what we do is we rate ourselves from 1 to 10, how happy we are in our role and how happy we feel in our team. For our team, in my role, I am going to go with a 7. And there's some reasons behind that, because it's a bit of melancholy knowing that I will be leaving, and I'm not sure what that will look like, and I think I will be moving on to more of a development team member. So perhaps that will come back up in for the future schemes. I'm hoping somebody is jotting this down, and or I will attempt to remember to put that in our Kaizen. And for the team, I want to go ahead and give us a 10, actually, because of our Wikispeed Expo and how we're being agile to adapt to the possible forthcoming income stream. I mean, the more attempts that we have at it, the likely and closer we are to completion. And as far as a process improvement, I have one. I'm not sure exactly how to formulate it into words quite yet, because just in the last 30 minutes or so, I got a message from a team member regarding what we can do and plan, and his share was just really powerful, and I liked it. I think we can benefit from it somehow. So I will come back to myself. We will come back to me about how to word that constant improvement. Who will strike that? I believe, Bruce, you're next. Thank you very much, Bruce. I believe, Lauren, that leaves you. Thank you, Lauren, and also Chris for the text and update on that. That confirms it for what I have. I believe you are next then. Thank you very much, Chris and folks. And now that brings me back to me, and I finally was able to come to a conclusion of what the words I want to use, which is our process improvement. My proposed process improvement is sharing the limits that you as an individual know what can be done with another team member, so that either pairing or figure out another pairing that can help improve upon those limits and or respect those limits. That way we know whether it's a skill set, whether it's an energy level. I'm trying to make this as applicable in general as possible. So help me with improving those the wording on that. So it's to share either with another individual or a team where your limits are, what you think your limits and so to speak, your boundaries, so we know what we can do to help you either improve or push past those limits and boundaries, or to respect them and say, okay, you need some more time. Personally, for me, I think sometimes I forget where those limits are, and I keep pushing myself a little too much, and my body then reminds me, like, you're done. You're really done. Which is good and bad in some ways, but it's good to know where those things are. That way, perhaps another individual could help us to improve those, to be even more fantastic, or to balance those energy levels, the skill sets out, as we continue to build upon those. Any questions on that? Possibly, yeah. And I came from a more biased point of view, because I have no doubt and trust with any of us. It's just my lack of knowing those limits or sharing those limits is not because of lack of trust. It's the possibly the lack of humbleness in a way, because I always want to think I can keep doing and can do whatever it is that's brought to me in terms of challenge. And the fact is, like, you're right, we got to fail forward sometimes. And so when we don't realize that, I think we can burn ourselves out, or at least fail pretty hard. We want to fail just enough so we can actually improve to the next tier, or in this case, that way, fail forward to the next tier, not necessarily just smack, like, oh, yep, figure that one out again, found it. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, nice. Yeah, absolutely. And I really admire their candidness to share with me your limits. Uh, my first attempt was to make that anonymous. However, to glean off as much as I can from that experience and from your uh, uh, confidence in sharing with me those limits that I wish I in the past had those tenacity and confidence to share. Like, hey team, I'm just not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z this week. Really, I spent all my money and time and whatever trade-offs I could, and that's it. And I thought I could benefit from that. Wait, the team can benefit from this. So thank you, Chris, for sharing that with all of us and to make that a process improvement. What I have put down and share with each other our limits so we can help each other respect and or overcome those limits. All right. Thank you all. Anything else to add to our retrospective? If not, that will wrap us up and will move us on forward to our crosstalk. Yes, Lauren. Yeah, it is a good time. I see what you did there. That's a good pass on there. I wasn't looking for the baton, but okay. Looks like baton's in my hands now. So IFX, what was mentioned earlier from Chris Wallace, uh, they are a international expo floating on for the technology side. There's a lot of them. They are one of them. Uh, they are putting on an event down in Las Vegas. Uh, they were trying to plan that a lot earlier prior to what happened this last weekend. However, it is scheduled for November 29th and 30th. I believe that is a Wednesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Friday, uh, later next month. And we're remaining agile in terms of how we want to come together and put that and plan that event with them, so we have at least a vehicle down there to work on and also to showcase. Ideally, I think it's still being in talks right now, is if we can have two vehicles there. Um, but mainly, we will have at least two full-time dedicated people to go down there and help facilitate the event. We're looking for some volunteers to help attend as well, and we're asking the organizers currently right now to figure out what some sort of subsidies or compensations is available. We are in the process of sending out a statement of work, SOW, for them to review. They'll likely counter with what they can work with, but we also want to make it worth the while of the two coaches that'll be down there facilitating the two-day build event. We will go from there to see what is the priority level of those items that we can work with them on. And who knows, maybe it won't be part of the budget. They do know what our starting initial price is, since we have logistics to plan in terms of shipping and prepping. Since it's a two-day event, we'll need 1 day each in the front and back end to prep for it, and also to finish up. That is, so a total of 4 days. And of course, travel and housing for the and per diem, in terms of food, I think, for the two scrum coaches. Is there anything else that I'm missing on that? We recently had a video chat conversation with them, so that was good. We did not want to wait too long or start the conversation with an email regarding the compensation. We just wanted to make them known and aware, and then we'll go from there. They'll likely look for more details of what are these things being spent on. So we will break that down for them if need be and go from there. We're also looking for any other volunteers that wish to attend, meaning to either help facilitate some of the build with us and or relief, and then attend some of the other events that are going on at the expo. There'll be other workshops, I'm sure. There'll be other fun activities as well. It sounds like there's going to be a couple of zip lines and possibly a sort of rectangular oval track for other hardware people, if not for just our Wikispeed vehicles, which is something we'll need to scrum out in terms of reliability and logistics. It is not as try again. It is not aimed at a traditional expo as what they are intending from what the email and the video conversation is. They're looking unconference. That's right. Thank you, Chris. No, not at all. Thank you. They call it an unconference. So they want to do a slightly different, not slightly, a very different type of approach to a convention. They also want the centralized thing to be around the, like the crappy robot, the quote unquote, the queen of that YouTube blog celebrity, Simone, correct me if I'm wrong. So, as well as other YouTube celebrities. So it's more geared towards the makerspace, so to speak, and the homebrew type. So it really falls along the lines of what Team Wikispeed's about, and we will see where it goes after more conversation. I think we are looking at probably, give or take, 6 weeks out to get a finalized statement of work, if that's feasible. That way then we can start planning out which vehicle or vehicles to start packaging, prepping, and shipping down there to get those moving forward, since it's one of the larger pieces of the puzzle. Is there anything else I'm missing, Chris, or does anyone else have any questions about that? Thank you. Thank you again, Chris. Fingers crossed. We're iterating towards it. It's milestones at a time, and we'll see. If that works out, that would be spectacular and fantastic. Plus, it'll give Wikispeed Consulting the first opportunity for conversation to iterate on that, and possibly even more real-time media and photos of what we have to present on our website, but not only that, and also onto other clients that are interested and possibly looking forward to it. Uh, yeah, Chris, yes. Bruce, you had something? Thank you, Chris. All the above. All the above. Uh, yes. And also, to remind us all, I'm not trying to be a wet blanket, but we're going to remain agile on this, and we will see what we can, do to make the I's dotted and T's crossed, so we can get all the liabilities in place, but also the compensations in place. What we have learned in the past, as well as other consultants, is we want to make sure we have a signed SOW. It is kind of one of the least things that we can have to hold on to. Doing any work without an SOW is very dangerous. It's scary, and it can be a very waste of time. And of course, also there's the possibility that the clients are unable to accept to our terms, and we have to just say, okay, well, thank you for the opportunity, but that's okay. And it's getting us closer and closer as we have more and more of these opportunities when we get to, in a way, interview with potential clients. Lauren, sorry, Chris. Yeah. I'd say if it's in a PDF, then yeah, why not? We're an open source, and then it's it's part of Wikispeed Consulting. Sorry to just interject. That we this is what we do. This is Wikispeed Consulting. This is our statement of work that we're tailoring for XYZ company. In this case, IFX, yeah, IFX 2017. The PDF would likely be a better version so that it doesn't get hacked up and changed and whatnot. Yeah, I can answer this one. Yes and no. Depends on how you toggle that, Lauren. The Google Docs, link-wise, you can set settings so anyone who has this link can edit it, or you can say you could share this with this many people in terms of adding their email, and then set their whatever is that called? Set their powers. So what they can do, either view, edit. Thank you. Permissions. I should know this. I'm like taking a programming course. Oh, I'm so burned out. I started a lecture at 4, and then we had a post-lecture meeting at 5:30, and then just we kept going. And I'm still, we're in the same headset. So you could set those permissions, and also in the Word doc, not Word doc, but in the docs itself of Google, you can set so any of the changes can be suggestions, kind of like how Word docs have their the edits as the I forget either a notes or section or something that can be accepted later on, almost like contractual, which I've worked with in the past. So it's a good feature of Google Docs. Yeah. Who's the responsibility to blame? Or there's also like the revert portion of Git. Yeah, that's what we're actually learning right now in school, so we're playing around with that, hopefully not breaking anything too bad. Okay. Uh, I do want to save us some time also to address the Dropbox hurdle for Bruce. So is there any other questions before we move on to, or any other concerns and comments before we move on to that topic? Okay, Chris. Um, just messing with my like not before, but after. Okay. Well then, let's move on to that Dropbox item. I think Bruce, you need to log in as Wikispeed for the Dropbox, and not log in as yourself. Because I know here's the thing with Dropbox. Absolutely. And I think Michael Wilczek also is pretty intimate with that knowledge as well. He set some of the settings so I was able to play around with the files, but I'm still logged in under my own Dropbox, so there's some limitations. And I see that Dropbox is also asking, oh, you want to sync? Well, do you want to upgrade your account? Because you can't sync until you do that. I'm like, no, I don't want to sync. Stop pushing me. So I remember that was one of the hurdles we had initially when we were addressing the Dropbox and syncing problems. Maybe this was about 2 years ago. We had confirmed that, yes, Joe's account, or at least the main account for Wikispeed, is the very large upgraded account. It's like 1 or 2 terabytes. So anyone who doesn't have that accessibility or that premium level then will need to upgrade in order to sync it. However, if you do want to have that capability, you'll need to either upgrade and or log in as that main Wikispeed account. Thus, it will negate some of those issues there. I'm just too cheap. I've already spent $5 a month on this Trello burn down power up that I'm still not loving. I'm like, those McDonald's breakfast, that. Yeah, the bacon burger. There's also like the Destroyer or some other name like that. It's like this tall of a burger. Oh, the habanero, like fire spit burger or something. That was good. Yeah. Yes. Doing social good. All right. That I think addresses for everything on crosstalk. Does anyone have anything else? Uh, I want to nominate Bruce. Hey, if we want to keep some of that trend going. Yes, Bruce, thank you for making the way from the East Coast out here. It was fabulous. You got to meet Jen and James from Australia, Tasmania, to be more specific. It was such a wonderful build. It was probably not the most ideal time in my life for making all that happen, but I think, we were doing some MVPs and making it work, and it was fantastic just to see how things not only perspired and turned out. It was just thank you for coming out and yeah, working that agile. I'm glad for that too. Yeah, yeah. And so no, it was just fine. It was good. I still need to bang away some of those connections for everyone. So yeah, good. Got to put those in our backlog and make that work. Well, very good. We've got most, I think, if not everything documented. Uh, I don't have lectures tomorrow, just homework, so I think we're still on uh, schedule for our sprint meeting tomorrow. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard. Okay. If that doesn't work, we can discuss that now and be flexible. That's always a higher priority, man. Hey, you get to come to the West Coast, right? She needs to celebrate her birthday for 3 days. I know the trade-off, right? Yeah. Chris, you got something? Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Yep. We've gone to that certification and gone coffee break, gone to that CSPO class, and we will self organize and figure that out. Uh, very good. All right. I think that's about it. Also brings us 7:01. Great. Well, folks, enjoy your evening. Get some rest. I'm gonna get some dinner. Uh, have a good night.